Alright guys, welcome. I'm making this to talk about the number one thing which is mandatory. It's not even optional at this point to make it work for organic dropshipping. So if you have been going through phases of, testing and nothing has been working your way, then this is for you, okay? What is this one thing? It's speed. And this is actually the number one trait which I've seen every successful person have in common. And whenever I try to analyze what's the underlying factor which was keeping me away from hitting my first 10k plus a month, is the fact that I was procrastinating, overthinking, and not taking enough action. Now, speed is a very generic word, so today I'm gonna actually just, dissect the word. I'm gonna put everything into context where you should be actually putting more action, and this is coming from my personal experience. I've tested so many products, I've went through so many failures until I actually found my first winner, and now I'm building my new brand, which is actually going to look like a brand, and it's coming mid-March. By the way, if you want to be part of it, let me know on Discord for free. You get to be part of it. You get a lot of sauce behind the scenes. You get free mentorship, one-on-one calls, and cut. So back to the topic here, speed. Why was nothing going my way when I didn't implement speed? Is because I would pick products based off my emotion. So I would be, associated, or like I would love this product. So it would be something that relates to me. Therefore, I would pick it. But then this attachment to the product makes me spend extra time, whether it's for, trying to get the right variant from AliExpress, Alibaba, whatever, despite having enough proof that it's going to work. So this is what I mean. You need to actually pick products based off proven concept. And this is one thing which I keep talking about because I was wasting a lot of time trying to go for untapped products. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. So proven concept. As long as there is proven concept behind the product, then you can take speed without thinking. So the next time you find a product where there's data to back up the decision that, okay, this has performed good in the past, therefore it's going to perform good now. If there's this proven concept or data to back up the product, you could just shut down your conscious decisions, your overthinking part of your brain, and just take the decision. Test the product, even if it was like a week or two that you waste, you get the experience of running that product. And honestly, the only way you could actually not make it work is you not going viral, meaning your product content is not very good, or just the fact that you didn't all in on the product. So oftentimes, like when we start being accountable, we realize that almost everything is our fault, except for a few factors, like perhaps you're posting on a bad account, everything's getting like 0 views. That's part of the game. But again, speed would mean that you dump the account, create a new account, or get a primed old account, aged account, and start posting again. Again, it just requires like fast thinking, fast action, and just shutting down any negative thinking. Or one more thing as well, don't ask for advice, especially from non-dropshippers. So oftentimes I would ask people around my circle when I was a beginner, like my brother or something, and he has no idea about dropshipping. So I would ask him like, should I do this? And then I would let someone in my environment to take decision over me, despite the fact that they don't have any experience to back up their decision or their choice. So always take accountability, trust yourself, trust your thoughts, and the positive thoughts. The negative ones, cut them out by being, unemotional at first, and then eventually it's going to become delusional. This is actually another trait I've seen. Every single person which had to go through it all and actually make something out of it had to be at least 1% delusional at one point. When you're testing a product, especially when it's like a product that's not very cool, there's a lot of products which are very dumb and they look like, I don't know, like random. I'll draw this little angry star. You might know this. This product is an example, okay? I'm not saying it's a winner, but I remember this like 2 years ago or something, and this is the last thing I would want to do, right? Like test really unprofessional looking products. But the truth is, I'm not saying this is actually a winner, but there's products which are as, humiliating, I would say, as this product. Like they're very weird to record, right? But as crazy as it sounds, some of them are actually winners. So taking the extra mile and testing these products, something like this, which I'm not saying you should, but because these are pump and dump, that requires delusion, is my point. So when you test these products and people would look at you calling you crazy for running them, that's when you need to be delusional, right? To actually, put in the work until it pays off. Now, fast forward today, I would never run a pump and dump product, right? I always say pump and dump from the name. Like, you could make a quick 10K, but anyone who has made minimum of 10K a month would realize that 10K is nothing. You actually need minimum like 30K a month consistently, like 20 to 30K consistently for a year. Then I would say you're doing well. But 10K a month from a pump and dump is literally nothing. And a lot of your favorite gurus, they would get like a 10K quick month from, I don't know, like products which may not have been ethical even to begin with. But because the reason I say this, by the way, is because a lot of pump and dump products nowadays are the unethical products. So on the other side of all of this madness is the branded side, where it may look very slow at the start. Again, you need to be delusional through this phase, and then eventually it's going to go up. But if you are fast enough, again, speed, if you search for all the concepts which are going viral right now, you get all the props which are proven to work right now, it all requires confidence. Speed comes from confidence. And you know what is the number one thing that actually destroys speed? Fear. And this is actually one thing which I had to rewire in my mind. Fear is what makes you literally cripple. You wouldn't actually take decisions quick enough. So if you could, remove that from your dictionary, just forget the word fear and just take action. Obviously, you want to take action over based on values, right? I'm very strong on values and ethics, so a lot of these products right now, they could be making easy 10K month, but a lot of these are unethical. So obviously you want to take like quick decisions, quick actions, but in the right direction, right? And everyone has different values, but I truly think if you have good values and you just do the right thing, like for all the time, right, it's going to pay off in the end. So taking the right decisions and taking them quickly, as long as you know you're in the right direction, is going to eventually break through, right? So it's about time. Like at this point, like if you're putting in the work day in and day out, you're just, you're relentless. You wouldn't give up. You just test product to another. And again, if you're doing branded route, which I'll actually go into in a minute here, because like speed doesn't mean dumping accounts quickly or dumping products quickly. I'm talking about speed in everything in your life. So the moment you wake up, the number one thing which I do is film. And this is actually the best thing which I have had to reprogram in my mind. Filming when you wake up, it just gets you ready for the day because you know that you won a battle. Like the average human being, when they wake up, they scroll on their phone. So if you could actually wake up and do something very productive, like hitting the gym or filming, which are literally the highest ROI activities, then you literally won the day. So very big advice: when you wake up, either hit the gym or do something really high, return on investment activity, something really high in terms of ROI, such as filming, editing, posting, and so on. So when you do these, not only will you save time for later, but then personally I've noticed that I'm more effective. Like my movements, like whenever I do the movements, or the overall quality is just better when I am fresh, right? Versus at the end when I'm dampened and fatigued. I wouldn't record my branded content at the end of the day. No, instead I would do them in the morning and maybe edit later during nighttime, sure, because anyway I post during nighttime, and you should as well. That's like the prime time to post for acquiring better quality leads. So that's what I mean by speed. Taking actions without thinking the moment you wake up. Obviously your mind wants to scroll, wants this instant dopamine, but it's oftentimes better just doing like 3 2 1 and taking action, like shutting down your mind and just doing what needs to be done. So nowadays I hit the gym around 2 p.m. because my suppliers, they are off at 2 p.m. So that's when I, take it as a break. I hit the gym, and it's actually like a good time in general. Like 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is prime time for gym. Filming again, either morning all the way till like 4 p.m. I would say is my, I wake up like 8. So this is like my window for filming. Again, nighttime or like from 4 to like 7. This is like my window to edit, and then I would post. So you need to create your systems, and obviously using Google Calendar will help you a lot. Just like a quick, advice for anyone who's trying to find a good balance. And I want to talk about one thing as well. When you think about everything in terms of ROI, so whether you are waiting for your next appointment, let's say you're at a clinic, you're waiting for like 20 minutes. Instead of just waiting, you could pull up your phone and edit. And this is one thing which I keep on, reminding my affiliate members or team members, because it's really important. It's all about the mind. If you rewire your mind to never waste a minute, even if you did like 5% progress on your edit, it's still gonna contribute to you finishing earlier and posting earlier, aka making more sales. So this is really important, and yeah, it all links back to speed. So hopefully I gave you like a quick insight of what I mean by speed. Now, I promised you that I would give you the branded side of speed, right? So I would never run a pump and dump again unless it has the possibility of branding. So if there's a pump and dump product which could be perceived as a brand, then it's fine to run, okay? And how can you do that? Well, number one, it's a product which has, this might be like a very updated criteria, which I'm gonna make on the spot, okay? Number one, it needs to have a very passionate niche, and specifically something that's really emotional. So something that's actually gonna make them like purchase regardless of the product. So even if there's like some flaws with the product, it wouldn't hurt the CVR. Next point, it needs to have something brandable in it. So is the product good enough to be run for the next 3-6 months? And the supplier, could they be able to run or provide you with new variants of it? So brandability, which means, can you upgrade the product? Does it have the ability to have variants or custom, like a logo on? I'll keep it open-ended. Third point, does it have good margins? Generally speaking, I wouldn't run anything that's below 50% profit. I've seen a lot of products which cost a lot to even ship, and there's a lot of products which require you a lot of MOQ to get started with selling. So unless I'm making 50% profit, it's not worth running it organically, because the end goal, so margins plus, and the end goal is to have a hybrid approach, which is paid ads. This is why it's really important. So that's what I mean by brandability, right? I want to make sure that the product has a long vision or flexibility to be able to, be active for the next, year. And eventually I could run, ads for it. And the final one is the number one thing which I actually look for, but I wanted to leave it till the end because you may have heard this before. If not, this is like real sauce. Flexibility in terms of marketing. So is this product, although it's one product, could you run it into different markets? So it's like one projector. I like to illustrate my ideas because it's the best way to actually give you the meaning of what I'm talking about here. So let's say you are selling this projector for Netflix fans, and the next day you realize it's very saturated. So instead of dumping this account or dumping this product, you would just transition to a different niche or a different market. So you would sell it for, I don't know, gaming, or a new movie that started like going viral. So something else here. So I'm gonna put gaming as an example. So that's the first way in terms of flexibility. The second way where it could be flexible is, could you take it to a new complete market? So different language. This is where the real sauce begins, because it's not only about the language, it's also about the country. It's about the fact that you know, unintentionally, or like while you do this, the outcome would be that you restrict a lot of countries from watching your content. So this is really good. And then another one which I want to also mention, it might be a bit too far into this, like we're digging into this rabbit hole, but I need to mention it. So customizing the product to a different niche. And you'd be surprised. You could actually do this with a 1 MOQ. You could do this with 100 plus MOQ. You need to negotiate with your supplier, and it's fine. Even if it was a high MOQ product, you could run it differently. You don't need to pay upfront. I'm gonna make a different video about this. You could check my branded video. So the video where I brought up the new brand I'm working on. That's where I spoke about this advanced strategy. It's called, I think the title was Advanced Method. So I revealed the advanced method, which requires this, which yields this customization method. So I gave you the criteria. I gave you the mindset behind speed and why it's important. So hopefully by now you actually know why it's important to take action quickly. And this is actually, like, if you want to even go deeper into this topic, the number one reason why people give up when running products is because they feel depressed. Like, they're running the products with no results, and then they slow down. It's like crippling, right? If you base everything off motivation, you watch a few videos, and then you know your dopamine, your motivation goes up, it spikes, and then there's an equal force to everything, so it goes down, it crashes. So at that moment, either you start relying on your discipline to take the next step, which is work harder or work for a longer time until it shows you some sort of result. And I'll give you context. So this applies to when you're starting out, but I want to talk about the advanced thing. So when you're actually in the field, in the battlefield, you're like testing products and you're not seeing any results. That's when you need to be delusional, right? So if you were to rely on your motivation while you're testing a product, and then you would post and you get like 0 to 100 views, this is the realest thing that tends to make people quit, is that they would get low views, for example, and then based off this, they would take the decision to quit because they don't have the motivation anymore to run a new product, or they would go viral and then they wouldn't convert. So low CVR per view. Again, they would crash their dopamine, and then they would just dump everything and just quit. So if you have the speed to test multiple products at the same time, for example, right, or test different formats at the same time, then you wouldn't even have time to crash here. So you would crash here, you just keep on going on the different realms of your strategy. And this doesn't only need to rely on different products. You could have 3 different phones, for example. So the first phone doesn't work, it's fine. You're still pumping on your other 2 phones. Or another example is, this niche doesn't work, you test different niches. Or this format didn't work, you test different formats. So it's all about taking the most effective action when things don't go your way. So instead of quitting, what's the second best thing to do? Obviously, quitting is not the right thing, right? So whether it's testing a new format, a new idea, changing the quality of the content, the background, the hand movements, the text, the audio, or just changing the product. Sometimes it's truly the product. So yeah, hopefully this actually opens your eyes about this topic and the importance of this topic, because a lot of people actually DM me about this, and I can see it. like when things are not going your way, instead of slowing down, you need to double down. So this is for anyone who is struggling with, seeing results and they feel like they're slowing down. Then this is for you. And if this actually like helps you guys, let me know. And you could join my Discord. We have a community here. Everything's for free. We do Sunday calls every week where I just do product research with you guys, Q&A and everything. And again, we have our affiliate program. If you'd like to join for the brand to feel like you are part of something and you're not alone, then let me know as well. But it's more for intermediate. So there's a few exceptions where we accept beginners, but let me know as well on Discord. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.